Massive spoilers if you have not beat the game Forspoken or played it or whatever, you should not be here. There's this land. In the lore, a land ruled by powerful sorcerer level beings that have crazy abilities known as Tantas. They ruled Athia's 4 realms, or one could say different towns or cities within Athia. The Tantas were the rulers of the land, and they was technically the protectors. So they had the highest level authority, and they had the power to actually command their authority without no military. They were just powerful and had super magic and stuff. One of the Tantas actually had a kid, the main character of the game. She's a being that thought she was just a normal human on Earth, and her parents just abandoned her, so she got in trouble with her life. The authorities are the ones that found this newborn in the first place. A few days before Christmas, she came across this magical sentient bracelet that actually can talk inside her head, and only she can hear it, which apparently gave her abilities because it can shape into a blade to help stab some enemies that's already on the ground, on top of actually give her extra defense, and will technically even help her counterattack to blow back opponents, like a big old shield around her. Even though it doesn't look like it's that big, it can do all of this area of effect type of stuff. It chooses to aid her on its own free will. Even from long falls, it would just hold her in the air like that. Clear occasions like this on how these hits would have technically hit her if it wasn't for this protection. Even from mighty Tantas, it can even shield and parry attacks from to let you know how much defense it actually has. Not to mention Tantas in general have protective enchantments painting on their nails with their own blood for extra benefits or perks. She was in that street life before she knew she was more important than she really was. But when it comes to physical attributes, that's not something she shines at because she specializes in magic, aka blast power, energy projection type stuff, even though she still has parkour abilities even without even having the bracelet on here, no magical gear, just to show her athleticism. Physically speaking, she knows how to get herself or protect herself and get herself out of situations quickly. The game made it seem like without this bracelet or sentient being with her, she would not be able to do magical stuff, but it was revealed that she just has magical power even without that bracelet, because these Tantas had that ability without the bracelet. And she's the daughter of one. And the bracelet itself was actually the enemy the whole time, a demon. Yes, this is the actual bracelet that was on her the whole time. He was in a weakened state, the reason why he needed Frey's help so he can regain his true power. It was originally thought that she needed this to be able to use blasts and stuff like that. One could say she went through her awakening. This is her base normal state, and then she got her power activated without the bracelet. And this is how she looked awakened. So not only did she have the power of all the 4 Tantas, but she actually got the power of 5 Tantas, including herself, her own power getting awakened. So she's stronger. Part of the reason why she got awakened was that when she got to reunite with her mama, she absorbed that power as well. It's confirmed that she got the powers of her mama, which awakens Frey's true potential, and that's how she got pretty much awakened. Basically having her Super Saiyan transformation looking epic like that. Just surging with might. It's even confirmed in the lore when she got her powers awakened, she was the mightiest sorceress in all of Athia, absorbing all the power of the 4 Tantas. You can clearly see her not wearing the bracelet and she has their power. It's crazy to think about that. She got a lot of her abilities from this originally, but she ends up getting better than this without this bracelet on at all. It's literally confirmed anything they can do, she can do better, because she has all of their abilities. Confirming all the powers of the Tantas is hers. All them Tanta powers, along with the power of her own, everything she can do is greatly improved. Whatever they can do, she can do better. It's literally stated right here that she is the daughter of a Tanta. You have the power of a Tanta. You need only to unlock it. Yep, you notice how she's not wearing nothing, and it's still stated she has the power within her. Even she's confused. She actually fought these different Tantas because they was going insane because of this corruption bullcrap. It's obvious she's a match for these Tanta. Look how she restrains this one Tanta to make her let go of this one prisoner. Not only did she fight and beat them, but during this time, she actually took their power. And during the fight with these beings, you can actually see how strong they are. She had the power within her as a child. It just wasn't awakened. That's why she thought she was a normal human. Confirmed she was born with these powers when she actually started to learn about her true history. It was the Tanta that locked their power within her as a kid, which is why she has like literally all their abilities as a grown-up. You guys get the idea by now. It's just obvious. Since we know she doesn't specialize in just punching hard or something, she doesn't lift a lot of heavy stuff with her muscles. Her elemental manipulation, thanks to her being able to use a lot of different elements, gives her a crazy amount of blast power. But how much blast power are we actually talking? How destructive are her blasts? No matter which element. First of all, we know even in her weakest state of mind, she can blast with enough force to fight on par with Tantas like Tantasilla when she was going insane, of course, because of that infection bullcrap. If she can restrain Tantasala, of course she can do this to minions. There's even townsfolk that think her power's enough to turn the whole town upside down if she wished. Minor inconveniences like doors like this that are annoying, she can just easily blast through it like it ain't no big deal. Now blasting doors off the hinges is easy for her blast power. This is basically her mom infected and became a dragon. Yeah, whatever. Big old dragon she can blast and harm with her blast as well. We get an idea of how strong Frey Holland is based on a Tanta's power level. Blasts that were mighty enough to actually blow up or mess up the entire building they're in to where you can actually see outside gives you some idea of how strong she is, and she has her ability. Frey can make nature type constructs in battle that are that massive, that are bigger than giant beings, that are bigger than her, and she defeated her. We know she's stronger than her, but what about her? Tanta Prav, someone that has the ability to kind of float. So technically, wouldn't Frey kind of have the ability to float, but the game didn't want us to float, so they made it act like we couldn't fly in the game mechanics wise. She can control ice and water, and you can see this big old dome of water she has over this big old castle. You can see a faraway angle or view of how it looks. It's a big, massive piece of water. I just want to give you a real clear perspective on how big this water dome was that Tanta Prav was sustaining. And here we got another angle of it. It was a lot of water. Yeah. Proof that Tanta Prav has this kind of power, and so does Frey's, because as soon as you defeat Tanta Prav, all this water you see floating fall with her. They even say her enchantments that she had when she was alive are gone now that she died. So that's why when you defeat her, you actually see a whole bunch of water drop on top of her because of that big old dome just collapsed. This gives you an idea of how much water Frey can produce as well with her blast power, because Frey not only has her abilities, but more. Not to mention, we actually see Frey do stuff that's kind of similar to that water dome, but on a smaller scale. But for gameplay mechanics, they kind of tone it down, but it's no reason on why in the lore Frey couldn't do something like this. When you see how much ice Tanta Prav can produce, knowing that Frey can do that but better, like this much ice I'm talking about Tanta Prav can produce on the spot, all this ice Frey can actually produce. It gets crazy. Gigantic ice spikes, they're like the size of houses. Not making this crap up. It's just straight massive. Buildings would get just obliterated by these beings. All this fire she just produced on the spot. So she can cover a wide radius with a lot of raw power, or she can just make her own thunderstorms basically. So I think we all can agree and admit pretty casually she could blast multiple houses away if she felt like it. Thanks to her having the magic power of Tanta Prav, we know for a fact she can make house-sized water bubbles thanks to occasions like this, massive balls of water. Game even said they absorbed their power, so yeah. Not to mention one of her main rivals that she can beat weighs over 170 tons. Blasting away buildings makes a lot of sense. Frey's mama, when she was in dragon form, energy released messed up the very land itself and messed it up asunder when they were showing her a flashback of her power. This could kind of prove she can blast with mountain levels of force if she's anywhere near her mama level or higher, which we know she's higher than. Her being able to mountain shatter is totally possible based on all the stuff we've seen these people in this game's lore do, especially in her awakened state. She's literally all the Tantas in one, all the sorcerers in one. When it comes to this place of Athia, it's not a real life place, so it's kind of hard to measure it. But the best way to understand how mighty Frey Holland is, or one could say the Tanta of all Tantas, the main character, is to analyze the bracelet that she's been wearing this entire time's power level, because it is sentient. It's an actual demon. The best way to understand her power is to analyze this actual bracelet entity demon being. Why are you asking this? Because this being is responsible for all the calamities that's been going on in the entire game. This big old corruption infection that's been messing up people's minds, driving the Tantas insane, and messing up the big land of Athia with corruption that affects everything it touches. All of this stuff is because of him. He made a self-sustaining storm known as the Break that's corrupting everything in its path. Yeah, it was literally stated he was the source of the break. Apparently, this legendary demon can't die because even the very first Tanta couldn't kill him for good, only being trapped. This being is the reason the main character's mama had to give Frey away, and the reason why Frey thought she was just abandoned is because this being, this golden bracelet entity, demon, corrupted her mom to making her transform and look like a freaking dragon. Is because of this demon's corruption. This being made storms that pretty much act on their own accord, even if he's depowered. Storms that can warp the land itself. Any living being caught up in it will die. These break storms, which this demon made, they are deadly phenomena that corrupts everything in its path. This is the reason why the whole land of Athia looks so dead. Self-sustaining storm that blankets most of Athia. It's evidence like this that makes you think they're way past building shattering level, making storms that are that massive or corruption. What is the true might of this being? You can see how dangerous this little virus bullcrap is, because stuff will literally disintegrate within the break storms. It will literally instantly disintegrate certain things when it comes when a big storm gets produced. Like, it just gives you an idea of how strong this being is. It's hard to get a true measurement on how big Alfre is, even though they do call it a continent. Since it's not a continent that exists in real life, there's really no way to really measure how big this continent is. Just for the fact this demon being was able to spread something this wide around it was so crazy. We've seen this golden bracelet entity make giant town-sized storms that are bigger than buildings themselves, dwarfing them. In the past, this demon was contained because of the 4 Tantas working together, but Frey had to fight this being one-on-one, of course. As you can see in this image right here, them working together. Not to mention, there's more implication of his power when you literally see the visuals of how he's producing all of this tornado bullcrap, making this gigantic storm around this little small town. Like, do you see this whole area surrounded because of this demon? We've seen these Tanta level beings like Frey and her mom deflect blasts from beings this powerful to show that their power can block or their power is competent. And this is before she even got awakened, guys. This is like in her base state. Before she got OP like this. To get an idea of her blast power, despite this being this massive and causing all this bullcrap, she still can blast with enough power to damage him significantly. The same being that the 4 Tantas had to team up against, and she's doing it on her own. One can make an argument that she has some type of magical defenses where it increases her durability, because even in occasions like this, when it appears she doesn't really have no shield up, it seems like she automatically has some type of protection still. Like beforehand, it was the arm brace that would actually protect her, but now she got her own protection, it seems, on top of all of her elemental defenses. In raw power, it's just straight obvious that they want these two to be similar, with the main character being slightly above this entity, but he was no match for the 5 Tantas combined in one being like she is. Being able to overpower him and even seal him back away in the depowered state again, like pretty much defeating him again. If all 4 of the Tantas can cause town-wide destruction on top of her power, which would be like 5 Tantas, she should be able to blast a city block away, a few buildings like they're nothing, blast away a skyscraper with ease at this point without even knowing her upper limits. And he's like sealed up like this again, but it looks a little different. This being is called the Demon, the Destroyer of Worlds, apparently. Do they mean Destroyer of Worlds over time? Do they mean with one shot? It's kind of vague. Sealing him up. Something that the 4 Tantas had to do together, but she did it on her own. In her awakened Super Saiyan form, she gains the ability, thanks to her own Tanta ability, she can open up portals and teleport, kinda. Let's talk about all the different elements she has. She can control the element of fire, make a blade, the fire around her fist to box you with, straight up blast you like with energy projection, make a spear of fire to throw at you, along with being able to use this fiery spear. She can launch a large area of effect version of a whole bunch of spears to where if you're surrounding her, she can just impale all y'all with fire, blitz you with a whole bunch of fire in front of you, kick you with the fire, or make a fire type of protective shield around herself, make a fire-ish type globe around herself, make like a little fire mine bomb bullcrap, have floating fire swords around her to protect her, give herself a fire type clone to help fight. She can control the element of water or even ice itself, and even be creative with the icy type constructs to use it like some sort of bow and arrow type of ice construct. Make an ice shield around her body for extra defense. Water tornado that's massive compared to her size. Floating water around herself that she can just levitate with gravity manipulation on top of it. Oh, did I mention she has straight up gravity manipulation on top of this water type of stuff like she can do on some snowboarding type of stuff? She can use multiple different elements at the same time, or create some distance by making massive amounts of water around her to fight multiple beings at the same time. Area of effect, even trap you in massive amounts of water. She can actually command the forces of nature by making her own plant, rocks that she can fire at you like little rapid fire bullets, or giant rocks. To make matters worse, she can even do it on some type of whip stuff like a big old vine to extend her attack. And there's plenty of evidence she still has protection and can make her own shields out of this earth type of substance or rock if she needs to. She doesn't just need that bracelet for protection. She can control the element of light, making spears out of light or lightning itself. She can blast from multiple directions with it. They're very fast attacks, and she can go invisible with her lightning or light, make little mine bombs, blast you with it, or one could say punch you with it. You can fire projectiles of magical light. Now, when it comes to her light abilities, one could say it can double down as speed, because when I paused the game, it looked like she was literally beams of light, or it could be she was invisible for a split second. We know she can technically attack with lightning level speed because she can blast with literal lightning or light. Notice how she goes invisible first, but then kind of like turns into light-ish looking or whatever. But it's kind of hard to tell, like teleportation. Like, you can't tell me this don't look like some teleportation type stuff, bro. Like, yeah, when you do this spell in the game, they even talk about how you fire projectiles of magical light as you move at high speed, implying that you're not moving slow. How strong do you think Frey is when it comes to magical sorcery, being the ultimate Tanta after all, aka the ultimate sorceress? She went from to originally not being able to make her own portals, but after getting awakened, she can literally make her own portals now, so where she could go to that world if she felt like it. Blasting multiple buildings apart for her should be effortless. How destructive do you think her blast can get? Do you think if she wanted to, she can lift the entire town up with a big water bubble? There's just a lot of uncertainty, but before I get going, I just gotta say quick thanks for the donations, guys. Respect the ultimate Tanta, Tanta of all Tantas, the mightiest sorcerer in Alfre. I will see you guys later. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.